We've got some major Chelsea drama to talk about, and it's all about Mykhailo Mudryk. Mudryk is reportedly desperate to leave Chelsea in search of more regular playing time, and Chelsea is ready to let him go in January, along with 3 other players. So, let's rewind for a second. Mudryk joined Chelsea back in January 2023, beating Arsenal to the signature of the former Shakhtar Donetsk star. Expectations were sky high, and why wouldn't they be? 70 million euros and a contract running until 2031, people thought this guy was going to light up Stamford Bridge. But it hasn't exactly gone to plan. In 62 appearances, Mudryk has only managed 7 goals and 5 assists. For a player who came in for such a massive fee, that's a pretty disappointing return. Fans have been asking for patience, but time seems to be running out. Now, here's where things get interesting. Chelsea is reportedly open to letting him go in the January transfer window, either on loan or even permanently. The squad is packed with talent, and it's getting harder for Mudryk to break into the starting 11. So, who's interested in signing him? At one point, Bayern Munich were eyeing him, but since Thomas Tuchel's departure, that interest has cooled. Instead, we've got a wild card. Roberto De Zerbi, who knows Mudryk well, is apparently keen on bringing him to Marseille. A loan move seems like the most likely outcome for now. And it's not just Mudryk. Chelsea are ready to offload a few more players come January. Names like Axel Disasi, Benoit Badiashile, and even Ben Chilwell are reportedly up for sale, with clubs like Ipswich and Crystal Palace sniffing around. Personally, I think a loan move could be the best solution for Mudryk right now. The talent is there, no doubt about it, but he just hasn't been consistent enough. Plus, with Chelsea's stacked squad, it's going to be tough for him to get those precious minutes on the pitch.
Oh God, what is happening?
What's going on with the Chelsea ownership dispute? 2 of our current owners are interested in buying each other out to take full control of the club, but what does that mean for Chelsea?
Civil War dudes!
And how did we even get here? Let me break it all down for you in the simplest way possible, so stick with me, and tell me in the comments which side are you on, Team Boehly or Team Eghbali? First off, let's talk about how Chelsea's ownership is structured. As you all know, Roman Abramovich had to sell Chelsea after the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
Well, that was the worst day of my life.
And 2 groups came together to buy the club for a whopping £2.5 billion. These 2 groups are the first one, which we all know as Todd Boehly's group, and the second, Clearlake Capital. Now, while Boehly is the most well-known figure, he actually only owns 12.8% of the club. He's got 2 key allies, Mark Walter and Hans-Jörg Weiss, who also hold the same stake as him. Together, they control 38.5% of Chelsea. The remaining 61.5% is owned by Clearlake Capital. This group is run by co-founders Behdad Eghbali and Jose A. Feliciano. So, while Todd Boehly might be the face of Chelsea, Clearlake technically holds the majority of the club. Alright, so now that we know who owns what, let's get into the real issue, the dispute between these owners. If you've been keeping up with the news, you've probably heard that both Boehly and Clearlake are trying to buy each other out. Neither side is willing to sell their stake, and instead, both want to increase their control over the club. Here's where things start to heat up. Clearlake Capital is more than happy to take their time and be patient with this, but Boehly, he's not interested in waiting. He wants this matter resolved ASAP, ideally within the next 2 months. So what caused this sudden tension between the 2 groups? Well, everything seemed fine at first. Both sides were on the same page, spending a staggering £1.75 billion in the transfer market, and it looked like they had a solid partnership. But after those massive expenses, things started to crack. From Boehly's side, there's frustration over how involved Behdad Eghbali has been in football operations. Boehly and his allies believe that footballing decisions should be left to the experts, while Eghbali should stick to the financial side of things. But Clearlake has been defending Eghbali, saying he's only focusing on the financials. Even though Clearlake holds more power on paper, Sky Sports revealed that no major decisions are made without approval from Boehly, Eghbali, and Feliciano. So, in practice, Boehly still has significant influence over what happens at Chelsea. Now, this leaves us with 4 possible outcomes. 1. Boehly buys out Clearlake and takes full control. 2. Clearlake buys out Boehly and gains complete ownership. 3. The 2 sides come to some kind of compromise and keep things the way they are, though this seems less likely given the current situation. 4. A third party steps in and shakes things up even more. Whatever happens, the future of Chelsea's ownership is far from settled. It's a power struggle between 2 very ambitious groups, both wanting full control of our beloved club. Here is the latest update on all injured Chelsea players. First up, Reece James and his hamstring. Reece James, Chelsea's captain and star right back. It's been a frustrating start to the season for him. After picking up a hamstring injury right at the end of preseason, James still hasn't had a chance to step back on the pitch. We've seen some promising pictures from Cobham training ground showing Reece in his boots again, which could mean he's slowly getting back to outdoor work. But don't get your hopes too high just yet. We've seen him on the grass before without any actual ball work, so patience is key here. What Enzo Maresca had to say, wait until he's fit. It's a bit delayed, but the most important thing is that he comes back when he's 100%. Reece is still out, and unfortunately we don't have a clear return date yet. So when will we see Reece James back in action? No one really knows, but fingers crossed it's sooner rather than later. Romeo Lavia's hamstring injury. Next up, Chelsea's midfield talent Romeo Lavia is inching closer to a return from his own hamstring injury. After impressing during preseason and starting in the Premier League opener against Manchester City, Lavia picked up a new knock in August. The good news? Lavia's been back in training and could be making his comeback real soon. What Enzo Maresca had to say, Romeo Lavia is very close. Hopefully he'll be back for the next game. And that next game? It's looking like it might be against Brighton. Let's see if Lavia can bring that midfield magic back. Wesley Fofana's new knee injury. Last but not least, Wesley Fofana. Now, Fofana's had a rough couple of years, sidelined by various knee injuries, including an ACL tear that cost him all of last season. But things were looking good for him this season, until fans spotted him limping after Chelsea's win over West Ham with his knee wrapped in ice. Understandably, this sparked a lot of concern. Maresca quickly cleared things up, though. No, it's not serious. We subbed him off just to protect him. He's been fantastic after being out for a year, and we're just being cautious with him. So, no major worries for Fofana this time. He's still on track and doing great.
Fresh trim as well. We start with Robert. Robert was late. Jackson.
Let's go back. Mi amigo sabe lo que estoy, mi amigo Jackson, yo no te lo juro.
Mickey.
Here we go, a couple more.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It would mean a lot.